the final Commissioners Workshop for 2025, our special pre-Christmas edition. Any member of the public wishing to address the board on any topic can come forward and speak. Do we have any takers? Please state your name and address for the record.
Perry Village Councilman Rick Walker, 4122 Green Street, Perry, Ohio. I want on record some of the actions of some elected officials of the county. On November 13th, Mr. Beveridge attended a Perry Village Council meeting and accused our council of politically motivated decisions without any previous knowledge of any prior discussions. He suggested that we wait until the newly elected officials were sworn in. I find this very disturbing actions by an elected official. I mentioned to him that the council still had work to do, and now I question his integrity, his decision-making, and the ethics of Mr. Beveridge.
Mr. Walker, you're skirting
John?
the edge there by questioning
I would like
integrity
Rick-
and ethics.
I appreciate that. I would like Mr. Walker to have an opportunity to speak. Thank you.
I believe Mr. Beveridge's unethical behavior needs to be investigated, and Mr. Beveridge owes this council a public apology. At another point in the meeting, another elected official, Mr. Liam Bruno, also accused this council of politically motivated decisions. Again, very disturbing behavior from an elected official. He then went on to falsely state that a council member had threatened him bodily harm. All on record. At that point, Heather Liam Bruno accused the council of political corruption and stated that it was me that threatened bodily harm to Mr. Liam Bruno. This makes me question the integrity, decision-making, and ethics of Mr. Liam Bruno.
Mr. Walker.
Sir?
Mr. Walker,
I do have First Amendment right.
You're skirting the edge here, and I will say it is highly concerning to me that you're accusing the integrity of our sheriff and making it personal, addressing his daughter who's not here to defend herself.
Fair enough. Mr. Liam Bruno's unethical behavior needs to also be investigated. These are outright lies, shameful lies, and I demand a formal public apology from Mr. Liam Bruno. That is all.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Mr. Walker, if you will,
Sure.
First of all, I appreciate you coming in.
Certainly.
I am also a Perry Village resident.
I know.
So
We are neighbors.
we are neighbors, yes. Your comments about my comments, or at least your interpretation of my comments, I apologize if I didn't convey those properly. I don't apologize for coming in and speaking, and I don't apologize for what I said. I apologize if my intent wasn't the impact that it had on you. My concern was with the mayor that was bringing against the charges to remove somebody from a planning commission, that I disagreed with that move. I disagreed with how it was handled, which is my First Amendment right to be able to voice that opinion.
Understood.
And when I came in and spoke, I believe what my, forgive me if I didn't say this specifically, but I believe what my advice was, or my request, was that the council think long and hard about taking these actions in light of what has happened with recent elections and the political emotion of that room. We are now witnessing firsthand in the Riverside School District what unscrupulous behavior looks like, what disgusting politics looks like.
I'll agree with you on that.
On that, I think most normal people can agree, yes.
Sure.
And my coming in was to simply request that the village in which I live in, please do not resort to that type of behavior. And I was thrilled to find out that nobody seconded the mayor's motion, as I understand it, to go through with removing Heather from the planning committee, I believe, is the zoning committee or whatever.
I read through the minutes, and I don't believe anybody did second it.
Yes,
Correct.
and so I understand the reasons that were laid out in the motion and from the mayor in the letter. I had read the letter, and I was coming in to voice my concern with the mayor's actions. I was not intending to insult council, question council's ethics or their integrity. I was simply stating that this does not look good, and that I would request that this not move any further. And that was, if there is an issue, then letting it go to the next elected officials, because if there was an issue and if she should have been removed, then my guess is that the next council that comes in would have also made the decision to remove her thereby removing the appearance that something smells fishy.
Understood, however, the new council members coming in have no previous knowledge of any of this situation because they haven't been to meetings.
Yeah.
They had no knowledge, so that
And I
was.
would hope that either the mayor or the legal counsel or somebody would say, here's what it has, here's what it, trust me,
Right.
I sit through executive sessions all the time. Well, before you were here, this happened this, and this happened there,
Right.
is how this went too. So my hope would be that, once again, I felt that the actions being taken immediately following an election and having to have put this through when it could have been handled before or it could have been handled after, in that lens, did not look good, just as it doesn't look good at the Riverside School.
But if you had been to prior meetings, prior to the November election, this was being discussed.
Okay.
So that's
It was
a
being
fact.
discussed.
It had been discussed before the elections.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
had been discussed for a few months.
Okay.
I appreciate your candor, and I appreciate your explanation.
Yep. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for our workshop today? Anyone else? Mr. Engineer?
Yeah, Commissioner.
Would you please approach the mic just because the recording only catches you at the podium?
Commissioner Pleshnik, Commissioner Beveridge, I just wanted to come in this morning. I know I don't always show up at the workshops. I know there've been some questions, and I just want to make sure I've been getting all the explanations out to you folks that you've been looking for. I know the SR2 lighting, I gave you an update, Mr. Beveridge, concerning that stuff. Hopefully that was satisfactory. Over on Madison Avenue, there was some discussion with Ms. King. With some concerns she had on the stuff that was there. I had spoke with her previously before she came in and talked with you folks. Unfortunately, I was at a different meeting and I couldn't be here at the time. Hopefully my explanation on what went on there was satisfactory and you understand what the situation is there. We have another individual that approached you requesting slow-moving vehicle signs up on Lake Road. I had addressed that with him previously and he approached you because he didn't like my answer, quite frankly. But for one slow-moving vehicle, if he's got the proper safety placards on the back of his vehicle with the flashing lights on a flat, straight road without sight distance issues, things should be fine out there. And excessive signing can be as big a problem as not enough signing. So I just want to make sure that we're all good with those things. And if that's satisfactory, we'll continue on, and I'll update you again when I have more information.
Yeah, and I appreciate you coming in and the conversation. Just to recap, I think we're waiting on some engineering work to be done on both of those projects.
Absolutely.
On State Route 2's lighting as well as the Madison Avenue. I think that we got some information. I'm going to be giving a call back to the folks that came in from the Madison Avenue. I think some of the misunderstanding was the big project of repairing that whole wall versus being able to open up the road, right? I think that we can have a smaller scale project faster to be able to open up the road hopefully sooner than the larger scale conversation with the entire retaining wall conversation.
Absolutely correct. What we're looking at now is about 100 feet of the wall.
Right.
We're approaching and working with the Army Corps. Hopefully we can get them involved in a Section 14 grant and have them take care of the vast majority of the rest of the wall for Lake County. We're still being very, very hopeful.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Anyone else?
For what it's
Mr.
worth, I just have to
Commissioner.
say, Mr. Commissioner, I appreciate when the idea of these workshop sessions came up. I was a large fan of it. I think they've worked very well. I think that it is the absolute appropriate thing for government officials to have access that the public can come in and talk about these topics. I know a lot of times we get calls on things that the commissioners have no oversight over or have any responsibility for, and that's fine. But the public should have an opportunity to come in and talk about those things. And I just want to say thank you to you, as well as the rest of the staff, for being able to make these workshop sessions happen. so that folks do understand they are being heard, they have an avenue to speak. Sometimes those conversations aren't fun, and that's okay. That's the job that a lot of us signed up for. So I just want to commend all involved, and I'm thrilled that we have these and look forward to making sure that next year we have this opportunity to have these discussions as we move forward. So
Thank you, Commissioner, and I will share a few comments as well. First of all, we're very grateful that not just our county engineer, Alan Exley, but our county recorder and Santa Claus were all able to join us, along with Sheriff Frank Leombruno. We definitely have a very participatory group of elected officials, and that makes for a much stronger county government. I would also add that I share the concern of many members of the public that the data center issue in Perry was politicized, and that the sheriff's daughter, Heather Leombruno, was unfairly treated as a commissioner on the Planning and Zoning Commission. I say that with no inside knowledge, admittedly so, precisely because the way it looks to the public, and I'm only a member of the public in that role, it does not look right that someone who represented a lot of the public in taking the position that the data center was the wrong idea would be targeted for removal from office. It definitely looked political to me, and I can completely understand why so many members of the public were offended by that. I was personally offended by that. And while it's everyone's right to express their position, I didn't hear any explanation today for why Ms. Leombruno was targeted, and I do express my concern because, having been a city councilman, I've certainly seen how, a council person or a planning and zoning commission member, when they take a view that's unpopular with village or city hall, sometimes they really get beat up on. And that's not right, because ultimately we should be able to come to these tables, represent the public, vote our conscience, and even if we have a significant disagreement, walk away with a handshake as friends, because we're all supposed to be here for the same reason. We may see different paths to reach the goal of making our community a better place, but we should be able to be respectful of one another and not try to take each other out just because we disagree on a certain political issue. And so I want to publicly thank Ms. Heather Leombruno, Commissioner Leombruno, for her work in Perry Village. I think that her work has stood the test of time. I would second your concerns about Riverside. I think it's a perfect example for why a lame duck council or board should not try to vote through transformative things in the 11th hour. If there is a reason to remove someone from office, and sometimes there is, then the next board or council will hopefully see the same thing, presumably see the same thing, and be able to make a non-political decision about it. But either way, the new council, the new board, is the one that has to live with the decision. It's not responsible for you to make transformative decisions, spend millions of dollars, fire the CEO, and then expect the new people to pick up the pieces. Since they're the ones who have to live with it, they're the ones who should vote on it. So I completely agree with that sentiment, and I think it's apropos to your concerns with the Perry situation. I will say, as a past president and as the person running the meetings through the end of the year, I do my best to maintain collegiality. It's not always easy to do, but ultimately we're all responsible for it. If someone wants to violate those norms, it's very hard to completely cover for them. And so I would say I'm grateful to the vast majority of the public and elected officials and folks who come to these meetings, even when we do have significant policy disagreements, but approaches it with so much respect. What I've heard from this year and the leadership that our president, Commissioner Richard Regovich, displayed, that the public really appreciated the environment of professionalism that he maintained. And so it's with that aspiration that I run meetings, that we will run meetings going forward, knowing that it's only possible because all of you work with us to show such great respect to the offices that we hold, to the trust that the public has put in us collectively. It's only possible with your help. And finally, at the risk of going too far over time, I would just say, doubly grateful to the engineer for being here with us. We want to make sure we're responsive to all citizen concerns, and it's important that we do so. My personal New Year's resolution for 2026 is those lights on Route 2 are done next year, and I'm going to be bound and determined to get it done with your help. And I believe that working together, we can do it for our communities. With that, I'll just say Merry Christmas, and if there's no further comments,
Yes, sir.
we stand adjourned.